Okay, let's continue then. Now we have some rhymes and tongue twisters to practice these glottal sounds. Remember, we have two glottal sounds, which is spelled H, although you need to be careful that many words have an H, yet the H is not pronounced. And then we have the glottal stop, which is represented with a big question mark, a capital question mark, okay? This glottal stop is not a phoneme in and of itself, but what it is a variation of either the t or the d. In other words, it's an allophone of t and d when they occur after a vowel and before an n. It mostly occurs in the past participle of verbs such as gotten and forgotten and forbidden. But it also occurs in other words, for example, in the modal auxiliaries couldn't, wouldn't, shouldn't, okay? In words such as student and so on and so forth. Let's practice this glottal stop with the rhyme entitled Three Little Kittens. Okay, obviously kittens means baby cats. We have some words that I would like to point out. This is on slide 21. We have the word mittens. Mittens are gloves that you put on your hand, but they go around your hand, so they don't actually have individual fingers. There is a whole mitten. And you have those, normally you use them, for example, for the oven when it's hot. So you have oven mittens, although you could also wear them in the snow. Okay, let's see, I think those are the words that I wanted to point out. Okay, so let's read it. I want you to listen to it and then try and read it yourselves. Three little kittens. Three little kittens, they lost their mittens and they began to cry. Oh, mother dear, we sadly fear that we have lost our mittens. What? Lost your mittens, you naughty kittens. Naughty means troublemakers, not nice, okay? What? Lost your mittens, you naughty kittens. Then you shall have no pie. Meow, meow, meow. Now we shall have no pie. It continues on slide 22. The three little kittens, they found their mittens and they began to cry. Oh, mother dear, see here, for we have found our mittens. Put on your mittens, you silly kittens, and you shall have some pie. Meow, meow, meow. Let me read this one again. The three little kittens, they found their mittens, and they began to cry. Oh, mother dear, see here, for we have found our mittens. Put on your mittens, you silly kittens, and you shall have some pie. Meow, meow, meow. Now let us have some pie. The three little kittens put on their mittens and soon ate up the pie. Oh, mother dear, we greatly fear that we have soiled our mittens. What? Soiled your mittens, you naughty kittens. Then they began to cry. Meow, meow, meow. On the next slide, we have the final paragraph. Meow, meow, meow. Then they began to sigh. The three little kittens, they washed their mittens and hanged them out to dry. Oh, mother dear, do you not hear that we have washed our mittens? What? Washed your mittens, you are good kittens. But I smell a rat close by. Meow, meow, meow. We smell a rat close by. Okay, now we're going to talk about something different. We said the consonant sounds are described in terms of three features: voicing, plays of articulation, which we just finished talking about, and now we're going to talk about manner of articulation. But first, let's review oral nasal processes, which we have already talked about. We said that there's a difference between nasal sounds and oral sounds. And this is pointed out on slide 24. We said that nasal sounds are those sounds in which the air comes out through the nose, as it is prevented from coming out through the mouth, because the soft palate or the velum is lowered and the air is enabled to go out through the mouth or through the oral tract. And we have in English 3 nasal sounds: and The rest are all oral sounds. In oral sounds, the air comes out through the mouth or the oral cavity as the soft palate or velum is raised, blocking the nasal passage, and therefore the air is expelled out the mouth or the oral cavity. Okay? Now, on page 25, we have a picture that represents oral and nasal sounds. The picture on your right shows that the velum, which is the very back part of the upper portion of the roof of the mouth, is backed up. The velum is raised and it blocks the airflow from leaving out the nasal cavity. Okay? So carefully pay attention to see how the arrows are pointing the passage of air as it is expelled. And it is expelled out the oral cavity because the nasal cavity is shut off and the air therefore cannot escape out the nasal cavity. On the left side, we have a picture that shows the nasal sounds. Nasal sounds, you see that the air, first of all, the velum is lowered and therefore the air can escape out the nasal cavity. And also, if you look at the oral tract, you see that the oral tract is shut, like this. And therefore, the air is expelled out the nasal cavity in sounds such as Okay? On slide 26, we again have two pictures that show the difference between oral and nasal sounds. Okay? Now let's talk about manner of articulation. What is manner of articulation? Well, manner of articulation is really the way in which, or the manner in which the air is expelled when producing sounds. Okay? It might happen in several ways. For example, it might be the case that articulators are close off the oral or the nasal tract for an instant or for a longer period of time. So the air might be blocked partly momentarily or blocked not completely but partly. Also, articulators may narrow the space considerably. Articulators may modify the shape of the vocal tract by approaching each other. Okay, and these are kind of the ways in which the two major types of manners of articulation will be described. Okay, so again, one is where the air is completely blocked momentarily and then released, or the two articulators come close together, blocking the air partly but not completely. Okay, stop sounds are sounds in which the air is completely blocked for a moment and then released, as stated on slide 28. Stop sounds can be either oral or nasal, and we have 7 stop sounds. Okay, again, stop sounds are sounds in which the airflow is stopped or blocked completely for a moment and then it's released. Let's look at the examples of stop sounds. We have p, p. See, the air is blocked and then released. P, p, b, b, t, t, d, d, g, g, k, k, and Okay, Now that we know that these sounds are stop sounds, we can describe each of these sounds completely by providing the three features that are used to characterize each consonant sound. For example, for the sound p, p, we can say that it is p, voiceless, that it is bilabial, and that it is stop. Okay? P is a voiceless bilabial stop. And if you were to use this description only describes one sound. So there are no two sounds which are bilabial, voiceless, and stops. There is only one, and it is p. As for b, it's almost like p, but there's one difference, and you guys know what it is. What is it? Right. B, unlike p, is voiced. So we have that b is a voiced bilabial stop. And that is the only consonant that has that description. Voiced bilabial stop. So for example, if I ever asked you to tell me which sound is the voiceless bilabial stop, it would be which one? Right, p. And if I asked you to tell me which is the voiced bilabial stop, then it would have to be b, right? Okay, now t and d. T is a voiceless alveolar stop. Voiceless alveolar stop. T. D. D is produced exactly at the same place in the vocal tract as the t, but it is voiced. So d is a voiced alveolar stop. G. G. Is it voiced or voiceless? Right, voiced. G is a voiced velar stop, whereas k is a voiceless velar stop. And then is voiced, is glottal, and it's a stop. It's a voiced glottal stop. Okay? So for example, if I said, I want you to tell me which sound is the voiced velar stop, which one is it? Right, G. Which one is the voiced glottal stop? Right. Which one is a voiceless alveolar stop? T, t. You need to know how to describe each of these consonants now using the three features that you have to use to describe any consonant sounds. Okay, what you need to do now is think of 3 examples with each manner of articulation and practice saying them out loud. Okay, in other words, 3 examples with each of these stop sounds. Actually, the direction should be think of 3 examples with each of these stop sounds. 3 examples with p, 3 examples with b, 3 examples with t, 3 examples with d, 3 examples with g, 3 examples with k, and 3 examples with n. Okay, I'll see you guys on the next video to talk about a different manner of articulation. To finish up, so remember that manner of articulation refers to the manner in which the air is expelled when producing a sound, and that stop sounds are sounds in which the air is completely blocked for a moment and then released. See you soon.